first up, tonight on the show, we're diving into Donald Trump's latest golden idea, quite literally, the gold card visa. So you can forget about job creation, you can forget about business investments, you will all have to just flash $5 million and America is going to roll out the red carpet. And this is going by what Trump is offering. So move over EB5, there's a new VIP pass to the American dream. And this time it's got Trump's branding all over it. This is that golden ticket to economic prosperity. One could view it like that, or you could view it as just another way to put American citizenship on sale. So the question is, will it open doors to genuine investors? Or is it going to see an influx of cash flush global elites, even Russian oligarchs, who are looking for a fancy second home? Joining us to decode this shiny controversial proposal is an expert. Dr. Tejinder Pal Singh Nalva is an immigration attorney. He's joining us on the show. Great to have you with us, sir. So Trump calls it the gold card, but should we really be calling it the green card on sale? What's your take on this entire rebranding of the EB5 program?
I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to recover the deficit which he claims has been done by the previous government. And to my understanding, this is most of the countries like Portugal, Spain, when they were financially in big losses, they created this word called golden visas. So there is nothing new and one shouldn't be really worried about. Definitely, it is better than, basically he's trying to stop the reverse immigration.
Yes.
People who are actually going back to Dubai or going back to India. Since H1B visa, people were not getting green card. So it is a way because people have made a lot of money in IT sector, in real estate. So he wants to hold, let them spend, get a faster green card. The idea is, to me, the idea is not to attract people from overseas.
Right.
But the idea is to retain the talent which has earned money in US. And he doesn't want them to take that money away to Dubai or other countries. That's my perspective.
Right. But Mr. Nalva, what are the key differences that you see between the gold card visa and the EB5? Does this make it a simpler process, a cleaner process like Trump believes? Or do you think it could raise some red flags at least, a few more than a high-stakes casino even?
You have put it very well. So American economy has gone into a guy called Trump who puts a golden thing to everything, even to his building, to his aircraft. So he has, true to his signature, he has added that. But having said that, EB5 with $800,000 could only have 1,000 applications, which got succeeded over past few years. So it was not a very successful visa to me, EB5. And there were a lot of bankrupt cases and a lot of companies got winded up. So to me, yes, he has done a master stroke by retaining the talent, by retaining the money, and also offering people who have American dream to stay there and get a faster way to get their green card and finally citizenship.
Right.
But he will face a lot of competition because if the passport is the only attraction for people who want to invest,
correct.
Then there are countries like Hungary and Spain, which has got ETAs,
right,
which allows understanding between European and American countries and transatlantic countries to travel on ETA. ETA is Electronic Travel Authority.
Correct.
Now, what happens is same passport without actually going through the country.
Right.
You can get it for 1.5 crore Indian rupees.
Right.
Which means you get a Hungarian passport at 1.5, which allows you to travel to almost 100 plus countries on ETA.
Right.
Then you don't need to put 43 crore rupees in US.
Exactly.
So to my understanding, he's not attracting money.
Right.
He's holding money.
Right.
And maybe, see, there are people who are born with the big daddy dream that I must live in America. For them, it might be an attraction like
but
watching
that's a very
Hollywood
small
movie.
number. Yes, and how cost-effective this is always going to be put into question by even those who can afford it. Naresh Kumar Chavda is joining us. He's an immigration consultant based in Canada. Mr. Chavda, good to have you with us as well. Do you think this is actually going to bring valuable investors into the US like Trump would hope and expect? Or do you think it simply creates a residency for cash loophole there?
Thank you for inviting first, and I'd like to share my platform with the other colleagues. there is a one good point as I am practicing for Canada immigration. It will be a positive turnaround for our business. Reason we don't have those kind of investment visa right now. It used to be in Canada. It will be increased and we show competition with US immigration and our lower investment and we get the Canadian citizen or like pathway to green card in future. Yeah, but this particular program, there are like still is a gray area. They announce after like 2 3 weeks like the exact detail. The main difference between EB5 and this program is like in EB5 you need to generate the employment, and you are not giving money to someone. You are investing the project, means your money with you or your own name actually, or with your ownership actually, and it's written after a couple of years when you get it back.
Correct.
In this particular thing, you need to give the money as per the primary announcement they say, and it's a big cost. I don't think so. It's going to be a like very fruitful or like very attractive program for many, or like the reason the U.S. authority didn't see the other side of the things. How many country allow to like pull out that bunch of money?
Yes.
That's why I'll give an example from India or China or the main source country like Philippines or like whatever the countries. If 1,000 people go out of the country with 5 million US, do you think the government will not take action? Local government over there, they need
Right.
to take. Otherwise, they are also going to a big financial crisis. So I think it's going
And
to be
yet you're saying this is good for your business, Mr. Chavda. So when the US, the Trump administration was designing this, whom do they have in mind for the gold card visa? Were they business tycoons? Were they looking at real estate moguls? Or just anyone with a spare $5 million lying around? What was their thought process according to you? Because like Mr. Nalva is pointing out, that this is for those who are aspiring for the American dream and always wanted to perhaps brag about having this kind of card. But do you think there are too many of them around? Who did they have in mind?
Yeah, I think it's very minimum bunch of people actually, and there is a couple of other things back the thing like source of income when they bring the $5 million, like how they bring actually. So every country or every immigration system, including US, they have a background check. They say like they will do the faster. Definitely, it's going to be faster than other program. I don't think so. It will be like the day the primary eligible, and primary eligibility takes time, depend on the country they are coming from. If they
Right.
are coming from couple of countries where there is no resource to find the source of income of $5 million, it's government not going to be approved and it's take like maybe longer time
Right.
actually. So key people who have a like official money and they have an interest in USA for do the business,
Right.
they only spend 5 million. I don't think so it's going to be viable for many
Right.
people. But let's
But let
time
me
will
take
time
that
will come.
across to Mr. Nalva, because the other side, the flip side of this entire move by the US, and it's the messaging that perhaps the Trump administration is sending out as well. What about the high-skilled professionals, the engineers, the IT specialists, the doctors? Do you think this policy unfairly favors wealth over talent now? Is that the message that's going out really?
No, I think the talent will always have their skill pathways because you can't substitute talent with money. So I agree with my learned colleague from Canada. This is going to benefit Canada the most.
Right.
And because I said in one of the interviews that, say, for example, the US president only stays for 4 years. So if today I invest in Canada and I get my PR at a much lesser money being invested in the regional areas in Canada, then in 3 years I become eligible for Canadian citizenship.
Right.
And being a Canadian citizenship, the understanding between the North American countries is that the Canadian citizen, as of now, can work in US. So
Right.
by the time, if I am the applicant, I'll become a Canadian citizen. If I land today, probably in 3.5 years' time, that would be 2029. By that time, Trump would be gone. So I'm
Right.
a Canadian citizen staying in Canada, working in US. Why the hell I would invest $5 million? I will not.
Correct. But like you started out by saying, Mr. Nalva, there are many countries. Canada, of course, offers these investor visa programs. There's Australia, Portugal also you mentioned. How does this now offering from the Trump administration, the gold card, compare with it? Is it just going to be competitive at any level, or do you think it's just overpriced and that's where the debate stops?
You see, he wants to send two messages. Number one, that is his signature style, that whatever I do big. Also, he has focused on the pre-Reagan area where he wants to prove that what America was, the big daddy, a country of rich people, affluent people, that signature has got diluted over last 10, 15 years. So he's trying to rebuild geopolitical image that America is still financially the leader of the world. By doing this, he's retaining the money. As I said earlier, he doesn't want the people who have got 5 million, are still on H1 visa, have made enough money, it's a white money,
Yes.
and they want to retain it by putting in that money. So it's a faster way for them.
Sure.
Last but not the least, in countries like Australia, New Zealand, there have always been business migration visas which have been changing the kind of amount you end up spending or the conditions or the areas.
Right. Fair enough.
To me, Trump is basically trying to create an image for US by showing to the people that they are the most expensive country to live in and they only invite affluent.
Right.
So it's like drinking water at 5 rupees or drinking water at 500 rupees in a 7-star property. It gives you a financial and mental kick. Oh, I'm an American citizen. I paid 5 million. That is the only thing I see behind the whole scenario of creating the big power, big daddy image.
But Mr. Nalva, even if he doesn't have too many takers for the gold visa card, do you think this is going to be something that will actually build the American image through the way that Trump is hoping it would?
See, he is trying. It's like, I remember, I'll give you an example. There was an airline which was started in 2021 in Australia, and they never had a economy class in that. And that airline failed because I would not be sitting at the tail and paying for a business class seat. So he's created a business class flight, but how many would be the takers? It's too early to comment. It's too early to even judge because there has been no gazette notification. He has not been able to declare his Commerce Secretary the condition attached to it.
Yes.
So it's too early to say, but he actually is an image building to me.
Fair
and
enough,
retaining the money in America.
But this question is also true in terms of, the misuse of this visa. That's a possibility as well. And it really begs the question that could this route be used for money laundering or dubious financial dealings? How stringent will background checks be? Will this be a conduit, actually a route for oligarchs, for corrupt politicians? Mr. Chavda, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, and my fellow colleagues very well articulate like they're supposed to continue the EB5 and add this new category. That's okay, but they cut down the EB5, and this is not good. And the one point you mentioned, think about from X country where US have a good relation today. There is 1,000 millionaire came to USA and they become US citizen, and after a couple of years that X country become opponent of USA or like enemy of the USA, then those 1,000 influence people with financially good holding money who have background of the other country, what happened to US politics, US sovereignty in future? So it's supposed to be very diversified, usually and I don't know what's after 2 weeks exact detail come in the picture. How they divide the source country like area wise is very, very important. So it's very premature to define that which way is go. But I believe it's not going to be successful because of the amount they put and the country. They are like people coming from the country, source country. Those country also put the restriction of the.
Yes, you said that. That they are definitely going to go after these people who are willing to shell out $5 million. But Mr. Nalva, because you're talking about this brand building, I'm just wondering if this route is taken by several oligarchs. And he said there are some very nice oligarchs that he knows of. Mr. Trump has said it himself. So he's open to such people going in for a card of this nature. Then does it really play up the brand image of the US, or is it going to be this kind of route that, corrupt politicians and oligarchs take to be able to get an American citizenship, or this route at least towards it?
That basically, actually, you yourself have answered your own question, that he's only after money. So it doesn't matter to him whether it comes through money laundering source or they are oligarchs or they are money launderers or they are corrupt politicians. Last but not the least, when I look at the whole system, whenever in the global economy, the people have tried to create something like golden visas, be it Spain, Italy, Hungary, Portugal. The idea is to get money. and they are least bothered how that money comes to their country. The question arises, they will not be allowed to take their 5 million out of the country.
Right.
So I'll give you one example, if you allow me. It's simple that after every person who migrates to the country, he will not only bring 5 million. Somebody who has, let's talk from an Indian perspective, who has 43 crore rupees in India to invest.
Right.
We'll not talk about how it goes. Let's say he has been able to transfer that money in whatever ways. There are attorneys who will get things sorted out, that money
Sure.
will be, tax would be paid and whatnot.
Right.
Now, at the end of the day, that money is now permanently in the US economy.
Right. So
And
at the end of the
idea
day,
is
it's
to
the economics of it that has actually come into play. But of course, the US Congress has to approve this. Do you think it's going to pass, or is it just another Trump campaign promise that's going to fade away? You think that could be also a possible outcome?
No, it won't fade away because the whole country is actually, my learned friend lives in Canada, I've been
Yes.
to US and Canada. So money plays such an important role.
Yes.
And even a congressman or a lobbyist would not speak against money coming to the country.
Right.
Because the moment I say we don't want money, Trump is doing wrong,
Right.
half of the Congress would say, excuse me, we are growing as an economy and we have not grown during Biden time.
Yes.
We just keep shut. So the idea whole is, it's like in India,
Yes.
when you promote a state and you give tax holidays,
Right.
and you give free electricity, the idea is to get money into the economy.
Right. But in that sense, which is the best country for investment visas right now? US, Canada, UK, or somewhere else? Very quickly, if I can get you, Mr. Nalva.
If I have got 43 crore, I will not leave India. That's for sure.
Mr. Chavda, you?
I'm in the same boat. I will stay in India.
This is great. So there you have it, the gold card, an open invitation to the ultra-rich. Or is it going to be a solid investment policy even while Trump says it's going to bring in wealth and prosperity to the country? Critics are arguing that it's a fast track for the privileged few. Whether this becomes law or remains a pipe dream, it is quite clear that immigration policies, they are evolving towards a pay-to-stay model worldwide. And is it going to work for America this time? That's only time, or perhaps the US Congress is going to tell. But a huge thank you to both my guests, Dr. Nalva and Mr. Chavda. Thank you for sharing your insights here in India tonight. We'll take a very quick break, but ahead we've got